Well, you can hear the boos. The Premier League anthem played, the official handshakes announced by the PA here at Goodison Park, and I think that gives you an indication of what the Goodison Park crowd think of the Premier League. Well, welcome to the centre of proper Premier League pickle, where nobody really knows who's in charge. Crystal Palace want to sack their manager, but after suffering health issues in the hours after that news leak last Wednesday, today it was when Roy Hodgson stepped aside, or he was sacked, depending on your point of view. The new gaffer, the Austrian Oliver Glasner, is supposed to be here to watch tonight, but actually the man who's taking responsibility for the coaching of the first team is long-time servant Paddy McCarthy this evening. His job is to try and avoid losing 3 on the spin and find an elusive away win. Everton's potential new owners have been loaning them money to keep them going, but they can't get Premier League approval to complete a takeover. 777 also lost their chief financial officer over the weekend, and no one from the Premier League has yet clarified just how many points Everton actually have. Coupled with that, Everton are on their worst run without a win since they sacked Frank Lampard, and James Tarkovsky's just taken a role in a new Amazon Prime reality TV series about the wives and girlfriends of Premier League footballers. So both teams are in a total mess, Danny Murphy.
Yeah, that's actually why I really enjoy some games, because there's disarray and chaos everywhere, but it still creates real intensity and importance. We know this ain't going to be a technically brilliant football match full of creativity, but it means a lot to both sides, and the fans here are desperate to see their team get a win. It's important for Everton as it is Palace, and these are the games that the Premier League throws up. Be interesting to see how Palace sets up, whether he'll change it a little bit, whether he'll be a bit more positive, a bit more high risk. My gut says no, but we'll wait and see.
Well, the relegation to the Championship is not going to help either of these two teams. It's absolutely vital that they win tonight, especially Everton. Paul Tierney is the referee, Stuart Atwell the VAR. The two teams ready to go. Blue shirts, white shorts, white socks for Everton. It's white shirts with a light blue sash from left to right, and light blue shorts attacking the Gladys Street in the first half for the away team. We love football on Talk Sport, so we put it on every single night. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the top two are in action in the Premier League, and it's a fact that neither are on British television, so you'll only get kick-by-kick commentary right here on Talk Sport. We are the world's biggest sports radio station, and Danny, back on Merseyside tonight. I wonder which of these two teams actually has the greater capacity to filter out all the noise and concentrate on the football.
Well, they both have the capabilities, but we don't know what the message is yet for these Palace players, how they're going to go about it. They are starting with a back three, Sam, like you said they might. Munoz and Mitchell, wing-backs.
Yep.
Wharton and Lerma, and then I think you'll see Mateta high up with Edouard and Ayew either side of him, trying to get with him and support him.
Yeah, it's almost when they haven't got the ball, going to be a back five for Crystal Palace, and I'll run through the two lineups for you in just a second. But Ben Godfrey's got high up on this near side, flicked the ball on for Ashley Young, and it's run out of play. So Pickford is the Everton goalkeeper, Godfrey, Tarkovsky, Branthwaite and Mikolenko. Then Gay and Garner, the two holders in midfield, with Young, Doucouré and McNeil behind Calvert-Lewin in attack. Crystal Palace have got Sam Johnston back in goal tonight. He's replaced Dean Henderson, who's just conceded too many goals recently. And the back four is Ward, Anderson and Richards. The back three, Ward, Anderson and Richards, with Mitchell, Munoz as the wing-backs, Wharton and Lerma in the centre, Ayew on the right, Edouard on the left and Mateta up top. That's how they're lining up in the opening exchanges here. The ball is out of play on this near side, and the referee Paul Tierney trying to encourage Tyreek Mitchell to get the ball in play and throw it down the touchline. He's halfway inside his own half when he launches it down the near side towards Mateta. It goes straight back out from Godfrey and away for a second successive throw. The floodlights on, dark sky overhead, a little nip in the air tonight. And what has been a unseasonably warm day on Merseyside. It's got a little bit chillier as night has fallen. And certainly what Everton can't afford to be tonight is frozen out again. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looking for an elusive goal. He hasn't scored since the end of October. Ball with Ward over on the far side. Palice trying to build up down the right with Munoz, who sends it into the chest of Ayew, brings it down, takes it away from Mykolenko, who's scurrying up behind him. He retreats to the halfway line, gives it to Munoz, who then launches the ball down the right touchline. It goes on into midfield, where it's collected eventually by Edouard, and then wider out towards the left now, where it's with Mitchell, and then Edouard takes it back again. And Crystal Palace trying to fashion the first attack of the game. 0-0 the score, 2 minutes and 45 seconds played on TalkSport. Godfrey intervenes and it doesn't reach Edouard.
You sound okay, Palace. Sort of strung a few more passes together than Everton. It'll take a few minutes for Everton to adapt to the system. They probably set up thinking Palace would go with a normal back four. Changes your role sometimes when you start a game and a team throws up a new formation. Got to work it out quite quickly.
Crystal Palace have failed to win any of their last 7 away games. It was the night before Christmas the last time Everton won a Premier League match. Here's a ball into the box which is dangerous, looking for Mateta from Mitchell. Intervening was James Tarkowski, and
brilliant
was
ball
put behind and away for the first corner of the game.
See, Everton have a back four against a front three with 2 wide men. If the wing backs get high early and aren't tracked, they're going to get a lot of crosses into the box. That was a brilliant cross from Mitchell. Tarkowski did ever so well getting a toe to that before Mateta was there to put it in.
It's put behind the way for the first corner of the game, the 110th corner of Crystal Palace's season. Wharton delivers it into the near post. It's headed away by Dominic Calvert-Lewin and then recycled out towards the near side for Wharton to dispatch the ball back into the centre, and that'll be gratefully picked off by a retreating Jordan Pickford, who takes it under the floodlights as he's back pedalling towards the left edge of his 6-yard box, and he has control. And it's interesting to mention that 110th corner, because Crystal Palace are the only team not to score from a Premier League corner so far this season.
Yeah, that's a bad stat. You wouldn't want that at any club. That's something that they need to work on quickly. Especially there, I mean, they've got some big lads as well.
Well, apparently, the average across the league is that you score from 22.5 corners. Every 22.5 corners you get a goal. So they should have nearly 5 goals, and they've got none from corners. They're bad at set pieces all told. It's the worst record in the league, Crystal Palace, whereas Everton are one of the very best. They have a throw-in down the right side, in the right wing position, looking to try and find Ashley Young. Godfrey does that. He takes the ball straight out of play. You were a little bit surprised that Ashley Young was picked ahead of Jack Harrison today, weren't you?
Really surprised, if I'm honest. I think Jack Harrison's more of a goal threat, goes past players, he's fit, he's stronger. I mean, Ashley Young's been a great player, but he's nearing the end of his career. He's not quite got the power and the pace that he once had. Harrison, for me, is a much more creative asset. Somebody I would worry playing against, whereas Young, you can, yeah, he's got a good delivery, but he's not going to hurt you anything other than a whipped-in cross.
Mykolenko looking for Calvert-Lewin, whose leap is good. He nods it down into the path of Doucouré, who's trying to get in from that left-hand side. Joel Ward gets a stab on the ball and manages to get it clear into midfield. And a tight knot of blue shirts and white ones. And Godfrey emerges with the ball and finds McNeil. McNeil tries to get away from Edouard, who wins it back. Comes to Idrissa Gueye, who tries a shot from distance. It's blocked. And then smuggled clear, but another quick turnover. Good beat by Garner. He tries to take it wide towards the left. He's still got hold of it. Palace can't get it clear, and they're keeping them high inside opposition territory. Here is Young on the near side after a real bit of chaos in the middle of the park, and eventually it goes back to Tarkowski, and he can bring it out and over the halfway line. Chips it up into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, try to keep it alive. Away by Ward, collected by Doucouré, and then back to the halfway line it goes, and Everton retain possession once again. They move down the left with Mykolenko, trying to play the ball into the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who comes short for it, then sends it wide. Mykolenko's cross into the box is too high. It's going to run out the other side, but it's going to be an Everton shirt that gets there first. There was a little nudge there by Tyreek Mitchell on Godfrey, who has now won a throw down by the corner flag. There was an interesting passage of play where Crystal Palace could not clear their lines.
I think the game's going to ebb and flow. You know, the quality of both sides means that you're not going to dominate for long periods, or lack of quality, I should say.
Young then plays the ball, he thinks, against the defender Mitchell, screaming at the assistant on this near side for a throw-in that he's not going to get. And it goes out for a Crystal Palace ball. Oh, Wharton's controls let him down. That's popped straight out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. On the right side as Everton look at it as they come on the attack. It's thrown in towards Young, back to Godfrey, trying to bundle his way past Mitchell, can't get control of the ball as he does so. Wharton will stab it clear. Tarkowski sends it back to halfway, and then Everton will build again. 0-0 the score. We played 7.5 minutes on Talk Sport. Going into the weekend, Everton had a 17.7% chance of being relegated this season, according to Opta's prediction model. Lower than the bottom two, plus Nottingham Forest, who had a 29.5% chance, and Luton 47.3%. But the results from the weekend may well have just moved the needle slightly, and I think they probably feel as if they need to win it back by winning this match here. And this is one of those on paper you think they should be contending to get 3 points from. They've won a corner over on the far side.
As you just alluded to, the set plays for Everton have been so important this season, one of their main sources of goals. Good delivery in, all know their jobs, work on it a lot. Tarkowski and Branthwaite, real physical presence in the attacking box. Palace have to be careful, been poor on defensive set plays recently, Palace as well.
8 minutes gone in the game. The right-footed in-swinging corner will come from Garner, who delivers the ball right into the meat of the 6-yard box. It's away by Edouard, and then shepherded back into the centre circle towards Young by Mikolenko. It comes back out wide towards Idrissa Gana-Gueye. He finds Young, who loops the ball up to a crowded edge of the penalty area. 3 Crystal Palace players went for the same ball. Garner recycles it. Anderson heads it clear, and then Edouard tries to add a little bit of poise and brings the ball down, then twists past Garner, who takes his legs away and gives away a free kick inside the centre circle as Palace threaten to escape.
Lovely bit of play, wasn't it, from Edouard? Bringing down his chest, good feet, good awareness. Looking to get away without a yellow there, Garner.
And Paul Tierney keeps his cards in his pocket, and the free kick is sufficient punishment for James Garner. Joel Ward has taken an extra 6 yards and moved the ball into opposition territory when the free kick actually happened inside his own half, and he'll try and launch this one forward towards the left-hand side, out towards Mateta, but it's over his head and headed clear by Tarkowski. It's a poor second clearance from Ashley Young that loops into the air and drops in possession for Crystal Palace, who now have it on the halfway line. Ward to Munoz.
I always struggle when I see a team play set play forward on Tarkowski's head. Granted, he's marking Mateta, but other players must be able to head it. Don't play a free kick towards their best header of the ball. Maybe use Ayew, maybe use somebody else.
Doucouré switches the play out towards the right-hand side, and Everton travel forward at pace, and within 3 yards of the touchline, Godfrey sends a cross high into the air, but it's too close to Sam Johnson, who's wearing bright orange tonight. Saw that all the way, jettisoned his hands up into the sky, pulled it into his chest, and he will clear away. I mentioned about that predicted table and the Opta supercomputer. They also reckon that Everton will reach 36 points, including the current 10-point deduction based on their points per game. The average required for survival in the Premier League over the last 10 years is 34.7 points. Crystal Palace will be thinking about trying to add a few more points to their tally as well. Oliver Glasner is here tonight, and he is watching from the director's box his new charges. He will take charge ahead of the Burnley game at the weekend. Here is Ashley Young down the right-hand side, travelling away from Mitchell, but he ran out of room. He just tried to funnel it in towards Calvert-Lewin, but it was without direction and precision, and it was mopped up by Chris Richards, who's playing as one of the 3 centre-halves tonight.
He did well in the Chelsea game, Richards, filling in there for Guehi. I know he's been playing central midfield, but he prefers playing at the back, and he looked like he enjoyed the tussle and the fight. I know they lost near the end, but he did okay. 3-on-3 here for Crystal Palace, because the ball's run through to Mateta on the edge of the box. He sent it left towards Edouard, who shoots straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, and it was a tame effort really, which was easily stopped, but just one ball down the right-hand side eluded the first defender, and that just meant that Crystal Palace had a 3-on-3 chance, which probably, Danny, they might have thought they would have done better with. Well, Edouard's got the capability of doing something. It's not even a crisp effort with his left foot. A little chop inside onto his right foot, a little bit of skill, move the ball, make some more space. For a man of his quality, that was really poor. Really poor.
Johnson Edouard, who's been on as a sub in the last 3 Premier League games because of injury and then coming back from it and nursing problems, and they haven't wanted to rush him back because they've had so many issues elsewhere. He starts tonight.
No conviction in what he did, no belief. just like a half-hearted left foot skimmer. It had nothing, no zip in it.
What do you say as a central midfield player when your striker does that? Encourage him?
It depends who it is. If they're young, with him, because he's better than that, he'd get a rap, get a little kick up the backside, because that's not acceptable. You don't get many chances away from home early in the game like that, where you can shut the crowd up, you can get that goal and just give everyone some breathing space. 13
minutes gone in the game, and it's Everton 0, Crystal Palace 0, live on Talk Sport tonight and the game night, Monday Night Football. And James Garner just placing down this set piece on this right side, midway between the halfway line and the 18-yard box, wide right. He launches it towards Braithwaite, clipped away by the back of Richards' head. It goes into the right fullback area, and Munoz and Ayew combine well. Munoz gets forward quickly and then runs into Idrissa Gueye. His tackle doesn't really win the ball back for Everton. It just diverts it into the path of Jefferson Lerma, who scored that cracker against Chelsea last Monday night on game night. And then the pace of the attack slows, and Crystal Palace keep possession on halfway. Paddy McCarthy in charge tonight.
Well played.
He would have been pleased by the way that Munoz just turned in the right wing position and got a cross in towards Mateta. It was easily cut out by Tarkowski though. And they will clear the ball away to halfway. Ray Lewington standing right on the edge of the technical area as Wharton brings the ball forward, plays a reverse pass into Mateta. The offside flag is going to go up here.
The tweaking system Paddy McCarthy's made has definitely given Palace a bit more control, more options when they're passing and playing. I know they've only had the one chance, but they look comfortable in it.
A little bit surprised that they have gone 3 at the back though, against a side that don't really score goals. Here comes Sir Calvert-Lewin being sent through the middle by Jordan Pickford, actually, who took a couple of steps out of his area and then lofted the ball over the top of the defence. He looked to race in behind there, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but the pace of the ball beat him and it was straight through to Sam Johnston.
I understand your point, because a 3 at the back, 5 at the back is generally viewed as a negative formation, or defensive formation, and I agree with that. But it can be the opposite. If you push your wing-backs on really high and you allow those wingers ahead of you to go inside and support the striker, it can be a really positive formation. I think they've done it to make sure they're resolute, not giving up goals as easily as they have on the road recently.
Yep, Palace are in a run of 2 wins in 13 games, then they are missing the impact of their key attacking duo in Eberici Eze and Michael Elise. The captain Mark Gurhey not available tonight either. They've got defending to do here though, because McNeil is getting down the left hand side after another long Pickford ball. It's come back to Doucouré, who smashed a shot from the edge of the box, and it wasn't too far away from the upright. It was just wide of the right hand post as Sam Johnston looks at it. It came to him very quickly and he snapped at it straight away, took it early, and that could have caught out the goalkeeper a bit on target.
He had to take it early, it was the right decision. Joel Ward did the hard bit, defended really well against McNeil, and then when he turned, he miskicked it straight onto Doucouré's volley, the right foot, just dragged it a little bit.
Second time though that Jordan Pickford has picked out a long raking pass forward, which has got Everton on the charge in behind.
Well, that's what I was talking about with wing-backs. Obviously 3 is, there's more space down the sides of 3 when the wing-backs push on, so maybe that's what Pickford's thinking. But Jordan, to be fair, has always been good with those passes if given the opportunity and the runners.
Everton's problem has been in front of goal, despite the fact that Sean Dyche says he wasn't too worried about the fact that they hadn't scored too many goals. Their tally's been dangerously low since before Christmas. Calvert-Lewin linking with Doucouré, couldn't find the pass out to Ashley Young, who made a good run, then committed a foul, gave possession back to Crystal Palace. There was an opportunity there for Everton, who just got over the halfway line, saw Ashley Young sprint into the right channel. Doucouré just didn't have the accuracy to pick out the pass.
No, it was an easy pass as well. That's not his strength, Doucouré, but it was an opportunity, that's for sure.
Well, his strength is breaking into the box, crashing the box and scoring goals, isn't it, Doucouré? And that's certainly what he's done this season for Everton. He's been a major
to have, isn't it?
Force for good. 6 goals this season, and he has only played in one of the last 11 matches. He's back in from the start tonight. Ball right side with Joel Ward, who's trying to clip it down the right touchline. It takes a little deflection off an Everton jersey, and McNeil was saying, when did that happen then? It's been given as a throw-in to Crystal Palace, which I think even the Crystal Palace players were slightly bemused about. Simon Long on the far side, the assistant, has given it that way. and Munoz will take it. Right side for Crystal Palace, the £8.5 million signing from Genk in January, Daniel Munoz. He plays the ball out towards Ayew. It gets it back again from Mateta, and then couldn't control it, goes behind, and it's a goal kick away to our left-hand side. And the ironic cheers from the supporters behind the goal identify that they didn't agree with the previous decision from Paul Tierney. Here is Tarkowski, bringing the ball up towards halfway. His major role, by the way, in the trailer that I've seen so far for that new reality TV show is his ability to flirt.
I really don't want to start commenting on that.
The thing was, he was doing it with his wife, which
I might lose my...
couldn't understand, because surely she knows what's coming.
My radio platform.
Ball cleared up over the halfway line by Tarkowski, and it goes straight down the middle of...
on a serious note with that, I am a big believer that footballers generally, when you are a footballer, should very rarely drift from that focus of what you're doing, and put, dabbling in other things takes your focus away, can affect your performance. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen it so often.
Well, Tarkowski will argue that he's allowed to have outside interests. He plays the ball over the halfway line, down the right, into Godfrey. Godfrey sends it infield to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin strong and able to turn, and runs laterally into the centre of the Palace half, and then it's sent out wide by Garner onto Mikalenko, and then back into McNeil. Palace getting back into shape and making it difficult for Everton to come forward, and they're pushed all the way back to the halfway line, and Tarkowski's got it again. He clips it over the top, looking for the runner Mikalenko. Ayew getting back into position to try and shut him out, and then it's away by Joel Ward out towards the far side, but it's going to be Everton who win the ball back and try and move it forward quickly. Well, the crowd is certainly urging them to do so. McNeil, 2 yards in from the left touchline, into Doucouré, back to Garner once again. He punches it back to Branthwaite, who guides it to Pickford, and acting almost as a sweeper, he then helps it on to Tarkowski, who clips it forward, looking for McNeil, who tries to get the header ahead of Anderson, but Anderson does well, watched it all the way, and just nodded it back into the arms of his advancing goalkeeper. 0-0.
One thing you notice when the two teams are passing the ball around, and they're looking to do the right things and looking for options, but the speed in which it's done is a drop. When you watch the likes of City and Arsenal, Liverpool, it's all done that little bit quicker and a little bit sharper. That's the difference at the top level, the speed in which the passes are seen and which the ball is moved. Best teams kill you really quickly because they've done it before you even notice. This is all a bit predictable.
Yeah. And at this moment in time, both teams are really cancelling each other out. Here's Mateta playing the ball down the left-hand side. Edouard trying to get towards the left edge of the box. He tries to take on Godfrey, steps across him, puts the ball out of play. And you're listening to Everton 0, Crystal Palace 0 on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton versus Crystal Palace live right now, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports. 21 gone. This is Mitchell, high and down the left-hand side by the corner flag, away to our left, but he's gone all the way back to halfway here, and Anderson's got it, Wharton's got it, he sends it square, and then Richards plays it into Edouard. Bit casual, but Wharton helps it forward. Tarkowski away, and it goes out of play and away for another throw.
It doesn't feel like a 6-pointer, if you know what I mean.
It's a bit flat, isn't it?
No, I mean in terms of the urgency and aggression, and it's all a bit safe and tentative.
Maybe. Is that because both of them are so scared?
Yeah, a bit fear of losing, yeah. Don't lose it early, stay in it, be what's the word? Boring. Be safe. Keep your shape.
Just in a shot of Dougie Freedman, Mark Bright, Steve Parish, all sitting next to Oliver Glasner. Well, not all sitting next to Glasner, but he was on that row. I mean, that would have been some achievement. But they were certainly in the same row, close proximity to him. But he's here tonight, the former Eintracht Frankfurt manager, 22 gone, 0-0. I wonder what he's thinking so far.
I think he'll just be taking in each individual and what he can see in terms of their confidence, their physicality. He'll just be looking. He won't know a lot of them. He'll have seen some games, but he won't know a lot. And when you watch players live, you see it differently.
Garner flicks the ball on down the middle. Decore holds it up well, then plays it out wide towards the left. McNeil with a cross into the box. Calvert-Lewin with a header over the bar. Might have been wide with the right hand upright as well. Well, it's been a long time since Calvert-Lewin scored a goal for Everton, but his ability to leap and get up above defenders is probably second to none. His finishing may have deserted him for a little while now, but that was a good opportunity and a good cross from McNeil.
It was a great cross, right on the money. No one round him. I don't know if you can really give him too many excuses.
Well, I read quite an in-depth article. I'm just looking at the chance again. It was properly on the meat of his forehead,
It's not a really easy chance, but you've got to be hitting the target. He's trying to generate too much power.
It's really weird because actually I was reading this in-depth article today about Calvert-Lewin, and actually his expected goals per 90 this season is 0.58,
right,
which is the highest of his career, and actually eclipses the expected goals per 90 tally, which was 0.51 that he managed in 2021 when he scored 16 goals. Pickford plays the ball against Edouard and it ricochets out towards this near side. That's quite astounding really, isn't it?
Well, what it shows you is the small fractions, the tiny little details that make such a difference. You know, as a striker, he's getting himself into positions by the sound of it. You know, the numbers say he's getting the chances, so what's the difference? Confidence, belief, all those things come into play, any footballer in any position.
And one of the accusations is the fact that his decision making in that final moment is not, his shot placement isn't as sharp as it was.
Well, it was that wonderful spell he had under Ancelotti, where Ancelotti was talking about the fact of how many goals he scored with one touch.
Yeah.
And he felt that as soon as he took a touch, he was less likely to score. I mean, I know you need crosses to be scoring one touch and pullbacks and all sorts of things, but it's quite an interesting theory.
Handball by Joachim Andersen, which has given a free kick to Everton, and they've been told to take it further back. He took that from at least a yard in front of where the free kick was supposed to be taken. It's funny that they're that diligent on this occasion, not on the previous one. Here's Calvert-Lewin trying to get round the back of Jefferson Lerma, and he spun as the ball was played down the side of the box, and Lerma ended up committing a foul. He was late. Calvert-Lewin knew exactly what he was doing, was waiting for the contact, got it, now it's a free kick right on the edge of the box. It was a little bit naive from Jefferson Lerma, got sucked in there.
Yeah. Silly one, wasn't it, really? No need.
And the ball was played down the right-hand side. It was definitely outside the penalty area, no doubt about that, so there's no need for the VAR to spend too much time looking at it. And it will just be a free kick right on the edge of the box, which McNeil and Garner will stand over. And James Garner, who created the goal for Jared Brandthwaite in the game against Tottenham here, the equaliser late on a couple of weeks ago. And McNeil, who doesn't score too many goals, but might think about testing Sam Johnson for this sort of range.
The person taking it, you'd never have somebody else put their hands on the ball and set it up for you to take. You'd always do that yourself. You'll very rarely, and maybe there'll be an exception to the rule, but I very much doubt, you'll very rarely see someone move the ball, position it, and then someone else take the free kick. It doesn't happen. It should happen more to put people off, but it doesn't.
It's a four-man wall for Garner to try and get this one up and over towards the near post. He hits it towards the far post instead. In fact, it's actually closer to the centre, and it's too high, and it went straight over the top of the crossbar, and it was all a little bit of a waste of time.
Not enough risk in that. It was a little bit safe.
What do you mean? Well,
that technique where he's trying to whip it over the wall to the far corner, it's got a dip, it's got a whip, it's got to be quick as well. He kind of half-heartedly got it in the general direction. When I say safe, he didn't quite have the belief to risk putting it in Rose Ed. When you risk putting it in Rose Ed, it sometimes goes in the top corner. Try and compare it to maybe a forehand in tennis, a topspin, where you really have to go through the ball to get the shot instead of steering it where it kind of goes in the direction. You know what I mean?
The other issue that you got there is he's a right footer taking it from the right edge of the penalty area, trying to get at a 45-degree angle to the far corner. Therefore, you're swinging the ball in towards the centre of the goal and then hoping that it goes out.
Away, yeah.
And there's every chance that the goalkeeper will be favourite in that situation to get hold of the ball, isn't there?
Well, it's a bluff game, because from that position where he took it from, you're expecting the keeper to think you're going to go to the keeper's left, and he already goes. One of Beckham was brilliant at it.
Yeah, I saw him do that in an FA Cup tie against Portsmouth back in 2003, where I think it was Shaka Hislop went to move to his left, and the ball ended up in the other corner. Here is McNeil over on the far side into Gay on halfway, and a lot of the football has been played in this middle third of the pitch.
Getting on top a bit of them, just dropping off a bit too deep, Palace, especially the wide boys, Ayew and Edouard.
Pickford sent it forward. It was an easy header for Calvert-Lewin to win this time, and then McNeil out to Mikalenko, back into the centre, and then it comes very quickly to Ashley Young, who wasn't expecting it. It flicked off his head and goes out on this near side and away for a throw into Crystal Palace down by the corner flag. But it was another good cross into the box, this time from Mikalenko. It was just a little bit too high for Calvert-Lewin, who got up, didn't get there, and it sort of brushed the forehead of Ashley Young, who was just behind the number 9. And it goes on a play and away for a throw on this near side. Crystal Palace's problems have been plenty. Wasteful in attack. Only tonight's opponents, Everton, have a lower shot conversion in the league, and poor goalkeeping stats. That's why Dean Henderson has been replaced tonight. He was beaten by 3 of the 5 shots that came his way on Monday night, and a lot of the fans were on social media asking for Sam Johnston to return. He has done this evening, which will be a little bit of a confidence knocker for Dean Henderson. Young back to Godfrey, down the right he goes, and Calvert-Lewin is offside before he can reach the ball.
Do you know what I find strange? It doesn't matter where you are in the league. When you come to Everton and play Everton, they like to play long balls and diagonal balls. Obviously, if it comes from Pickford, you can't really stop that. You're pressing when you can, but Palace playing one striker allow Everton to gain control by one striker trying to defend against 2 centre-halves. One of them gets it, they go long, pick up pieces, and you're on the back foot. I think if you're coming to Everton, the low on confidence, you were talking about their record earlier, press high, press them all over early in the game, put them under pressure, get the fans agitated, win some balls high up, make them panic under pressure. You know, I don't really understand when you come to a team that's struggling why you allow them the confidence to have the ball at the back and play these long balls to try and hurt you.
Could that be borne out this week in particular by the fact that Crystal Palace have lacked a little bit of leadership?
Maybe. I just think it's a way of playing sometimes that you can't change really quickly overnight. You have to work on it, maybe, and they haven't had a chance to, obviously not with a new manager yet, but even Paddy McCarthy.
They've got the ball, Crystal Palace, inside opposition territory, and Mateta's played it back to Lerman, then got it wide out to the left, and Ayew trickles his way into the box and then nudges it back to Tyreek Mitchell, who's on the left edge of the 18-yard box, and he's trying to travel away from goal, actually, and Gay didn't need to make the challenge there. He did, and gave away a free kick just outside the box, wide on the left.
Do you know things like that? That's what I call game intelligence.
He should have it, really, shouldn't he, bearing in mind he's 34?
He should, but if I was playing against Gay, I like him. He's tenacious and he's game and he'll keep going. He's got decent feet, but you know he's going to come for you all the time. You know he's going to try and win the ball and stick his foot, and he's going to give you free kicks. Can't help himself.
Well, there hasn't been much in the game so far to speak of. Calvert-Lewin's header over the bar, probably the best chance. Edouard's low shot saved by Pickford, but here's Wharton with a set-piece delivery into the box, arcing it towards the penalty spot, away by Doucouré. Was there a push on the edge of the box? Didn't go Everton's way after the initial clearance, and Crystal Palace end up getting it recycled into the area, flicked away by Tarkowski. Wide on the left, it's recycled again by Ayew. Tarkowski again heads it away, and it goes out for a throw on this near side. And Crystal Palace with a couple of attacks, nothing that's troubled Pickford yet, but some dangerous balls into the box. 31 gone, 0-0. Here is Ayew, back in field it goes, into Lerma looking to send it out towards the far side. And Munoz heads it down. It strains the arms of Pickford. That was a prime example there of taking too long to get the ball out to where it needed to go. You could see it. It was telegraphed before it happened.
It looks to me like Palace, when they attack, are hoping something will happen. They haven't worked on any forward patterns in this system, which is fair because they've only just been changed the system and stuff. How are we going to score? Are we going to get lots of crosses in? Are we going to play off the front man and get knocked down? What are we going to do to make it? It's all a bit, we'll wait and see, it's off the cuff, maybe it'll happen. There's not really a plan on how they're going to really hurt Everton. They're just relying on individual ability, and that's a problem.
Everton, at this moment in time, haven't had a shot on target. Crystal Palace have had one, and we haven't had many goal attempts. Palace have had 52% of the ball in the opening 32 minutes.
Some people have actually paid to watch this as well.
Are you suggesting that the entertainment value hasn't been high yet? Yes, remember,
I love football, so I can watch any game and find some enjoyment of it, and
absolutely, that's what we're here for.
Fascination of a tactical plan or a individual battle. It doesn't always have to be brilliant, but just tongue-in-cheek Premier League, these guys pay a lot of money to come and watch, and we haven't had much goal entertainment, have we? Goal action.
It's been tepid fare. I think that's fair to say, but there's been some bright moments, and there's been a little bit of invention, and you of course have showed your own wit, which is always worth tuning in for on a Monday night.
Did I? Don't remember.
Nor do I really. I think I'm being over complimentary. At least we haven't had to resort to talking about whether or not we're going to go to the cinema this week.
Yeah.
That was last week's filler.
We did chocolate bars one week.
But that was because someone had a failure with a piece of equipment, so there was a big delay. We haven't had anything like that tonight. Ball cleared forward by Sam Johnston out towards this near touchline. It was aimed towards Edouard, who's gone to ground. He's not happy with Johnston's kick. It's gone straight out for a throw-in on this near side. The good news is I can promise you there will be goals tomorrow night when we bring you live commentary of Manchester City versus Brentford. There's no way that's going to be 0-0.
What will you do if it is?
Well, Stuart Pearce has got some anecdotes. And Wednesday night we've got live commentary of Liverpool-Luton. That's definitely not going to be 0-0.
No, cat and L's chance.
That's going to be a good game. Looking forward to that. Across Stanley Park. Here's Edouard on this near side. On to Mateta, who helps it wide into Edouard. Good ball back to Ayew. There's space on the far side for Munoz, who's inside the box. He tries a shot, and it's gone miles over the bar. Well, again, that's a promising situation for Crystal Palace.
Best move of the game. Munoz touch to Lerma was awful. That was the only bit that let the move down. He just needed to set it calmly, and he bounced in, he bobbled it in. It was hard for Lerma to adjust on his weak foot there. The last little piece of that move went wrong, but it was good. Nice little intricate patterns down the left-hand side. Good play. Best move for Palace.
Up it goes towards halfway as Everton look to try and respond after conceding that chance. It almost bobbled through to Calvert-Lewin, and Anderson got a little bit befuddled, and then he went back to Johnston in the right side of his 6-yard box, and he hammered it clear. And an offside flag goes up over on the far side. But that was the best chance of the game so far. Munoz getting away down the right-hand side. You just wonder whether or not, again, they released him quick enough. You could almost see the cogs going as the ball was distributed out towards the far side. He laid it back for Lerma. It wasn't a great effort, and it was well over the top of the crossbar. And it remains 0-0 on Talk Sport. Free kick for Everton, and this is a good 7 yards back from the halfway line. It's launched upfield by Pickford into the penalty area. It might have hit a hand there, Richards, but it was inadvertent as he managed to clear the ball. Comes back out to Idrissa Gueye, who switches it far side with a high ball out towards the far touchline. And it doesn't drop on an Everton head, but eventually comes back to McNeil, who then turns it infield to Tarkowski, and then it's picked up by Garner. Garner out wide towards the right. McNeil back to Tarkowski. He slaps it out towards the far touchline, and then Mikalenko plays it against the on-rushing Ayew. It goes out for a throw-in midway inside Crystal Palace territory. 36 gone, 0-0. Talk Sport on a Monday night with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all your vehicles that your business will need.
Yeah, I've used one or two of them over the years.
Have you?
Yep.
Me too. There's one in my town.
Oh, you own a town?
No, in the town that I live in.
Okay.
Here's Edouard. I saw actually a bad article about my town today in the Manchester Evening News I was quite concerned about. Here is Calvert-Lewin sending the ball out towards the far side. It's collected by McNeil, and he runs laterally through the centre circle, plays it out towards the right-hand side. It's cut out by Mitchell because it wasn't a very good ball. And the ball has been funneled by Branthwaite into McNeil. He's thrown himself on the floor, wants a free kick, not going to get one. Paul Tierney, I think, just wants to see a football match break out, so says play on. Here's Edouard down the left-hand side, driving into the box, tries to go on the outside, bounces past the defender, gets it back a second time, and it goes out for corner 111 for the season for Crystal Palace. Maybe they'll score from this one.
I thought they were both fouls actually, but anyway, glad he let it go. Anything to get the game going. Corner for Palace. How many did you say? 111?
This is 111 for the season.
Lucky 1-1-1.
Wharton to take it. I think that adds a little bit of spice to it, that Wharton's taking it, because his set-piece delivery actually wasn't too bad at Blackburn Rovers. He sends it in towards the near post. Good header away by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who got in front of Edouard on this occasion. It goes back to Mitchell left side. He's crossing the boxes, a deep one. Richards heads it down. It's flicked away from goal by Tarkovsky, who got in front of his goalkeeper and nudged it behind for another corner.
Yeah, good ball in from Mitchell. Recycled it well.
Richards, the USA international, prodding that with his head, and was away by James Tarkovsky, and out for another corner, which Wharton will send in again. This one a little bit deeper towards the far post. Headed down by Mateta, and it's cleared off the line by Ashley Young.
That's the advantage of men on the post. I never ever understand, all the years I've played, always had men on the post, the amount of times you clear the ball off the line if you have men on the post. Did that job for years at Fulham. Must have saved dozen, 15, 20 goals maybe.
Now it was good that he was there, because Pickford might have got down to stop it, but he might not have done. And it's helped out for another corner over on the far side, deep towards the far post. It's a good catch by Jordan Pickford, who comes out, grabs the ball from the night sky, and then bowls it forward, but gives it straight to Adam Wharton, who turns it over, and then he himself loses control because James Garner shuts him down.
Well, he didn't have options. That's why, to be fair to him, he read the throw from Pickford beautifully, and then as he was coming forward, there was no movement or options, and he lost the ball, but he did well.
Calvert-Lewin so good in the air, and out to Doucouré, and he sent it down the left channel, and McNeil trying to get into the left wing position, and it's cleared away by Richards and out towards the far side. TalkSport on a Monday night, and it's still 0-0 as Ayew comes forward, tries to play it out towards the left edge of the penalty area. Palace on the attack again. Edouard to Mitchell's on the overlap, but he drove him far too wide, and that allowed Godfrey to get back and manage to clear. He picks it up, races forward. Infield it goes to Ashley Young. Young now plays it
brilliant.
Retreat by Mitchell to win the ball back. Lerma nudges it forward. It's on to Edouard. Palace now on the attack. Lovely back heel into Edouard again. Doucouré does well to get it back to Pickford. He slaps it up the field, and all of a sudden Everton can't get it clear. Munoz wins it. Mateta turns inside the box, left-footed drive, comes off the defender, then bounces off Ayew, and now it will be picked by Pickford, and he will just try and calm things down this time.
Good spell for Palace. Lots of pressure on the Everton goal and in the box, lots of opportunities to do a little bit better, but getting themselves up the pitch at last. Two great bits of defending in that passage of play there. One from Tyrick Mitchell coming back to get the ball off Young, and then the one from Doucouré dropping in and getting him back in his own box there. Terrific.
Everton 0, Crystal Palace 0. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Everton to win the game at 11-10 on. The draw 17-10. Palace to win 9-2. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Here is Tarkovsky. He's right on the edge of his area. He's given it to Pickford, who's just set up for another long ball forward, then waited. It's almost like he's playing as a quarterback tonight. Pickford allowed to bring the ball out of the pocket. He looks up, and then he's trying to send it over the line of scrimmage where Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going. Chris Richards knows all about that. Acting in cornerback, tried to shrug him off the ball. And the ball breaks into midfield, and Palace have got it back again momentarily, because Gaze then picked it off Lerma's toes, and then as Doucouré allows it to run across his body, hoping that McNeil could gather it. It ran too far away from McNeil, and Munoz got it back to his goalkeeper, who clears. Here's Jefferson Lerma in centre field. Tries to push it into Mateta's path, and it goes past him and back to Pickford.
Well, Lerma needed him. He looked to play to his feet, and he wasn't there, Mateta. So when you play midfield, you need your forwards to show, a bit tired or not, come and show a little bounce pass. He can look a little bit ungainly at times, Mateta. I know he's a threat, but his link-up play can be a little bit scruffy.
And he scored a consolation goal against Brighton. Jean-Philippe Mateta also scored against Liverpool, Man City. And the big games usually bring the best out of him. And 3 goals, 3 assists and 2 penalties won in the Premier League this season. Probably not enough for a forward.
No.
Ball out of play on this near side. Mitchell to take the throw. Remember, you'll be able to react to all of tonight's action when we get some. On the Sports Bar, a little bit later on, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be hosting. And tomorrow morning, Jeff Stelling and Andy Townsend will pour over the lot on TalkSport's Superstar Breakfast. Ayew has it wide right on the far touchline. He swivels away brilliantly from Garner, who's allowed to get away from him too easily. Moves to the edge of the box, chips it into the area. Godfrey read it, headed it away. Calvert-Lewin drops deep, picks it up, lays it off beautifully. And now McNeil can race over the halfway line. Palice has got 5 men back here, so he chops back, comes inside, and then travels backwards rather than forward. And any momentum that he had has dissipated very quickly.
Everton fans getting agitated now. When I used to play, if you get them like this, you're happy.
And you can understand why, because this is a game really, when you look at the table, you look at the form guide, you look at the situation that Everton are in, they need points on the board.
They do.
They're playing against a Crystal Palace team, they've just sacked their manager, and their 2 best players are injured. Well, their 3 best players are injured.
Well, you could argue Palace have probably been just about shaded in terms of...
They've had the better chances.
Better chances, probably a tad more possession.
Yeah, 51 to 49. 2 shots on goal, none so far on target for Everton.
Everton have been pretty woeful, considering what's at stake.
Can you be pretty woeful, or are you just woeful?
Just woeful, yeah, good point.
90 seconds to go before half-time. You know there's not much action when that's what we're dissecting. Forward, up towards Branthwaite, up over the halfway line. Lerma wins it back. Now Wharton tries to split the defence before it can reach Edouard.
He saw it though, didn't he?
Stepped across, yeah, he did. It was a good idea from Adam Wharton, the former Blackburn Rovers teenager. He's come here as a 20-year-old now. Recently had his birthday. Signed for this club, Crystal Palace, for £22 million, or a fee that will rise to £22 million. And it was very good actually in the game against Chelsea. That's a poor clearance.
It is a poor clearance, but it's triggered by Munoz closing down 3 people, then Pickford. Brilliant. I like that attitude. Just a little bit of pressing, a bit of tenacity, courage to go after Everton. A few of his teammates join him. All of a sudden they might win a few more back high up the pitch.
There's a few stragglers walking out to go and get half-time nourishment from the concession stands here at Goodison Park. The ball is on the halfway line after Palace attacking down the right, throw it to the edge of the box. It's cleared away by Pickford.
How do you know they're going to get food? They might be going to the toilet.
I said nourishment. That can mean any number of things.
I'm not sure going to the toilet is under the umbrella of nourishment.
It could be nourishing. I don't know. Ball's out of play on this near side. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45 before we can all go and get some nourishment and have a toilet break if that's what we want. Here is Calvert-Lewin into Godfrey. Little back heel by Young, and then Godfrey tried to return it, but Young had stopped his run. The ball dribbles out down by the corner flag in the corner of the park end and the main stand that we're sitting in. Paul Tierney.
You know, we were talking about selection earlier, looking at Everton's bench with Onana. I mean, Onana is somebody I thought the fans liked. There has been talk of other clubs courting him.
I was in a taxi earlier on.
And he's on the bench for Everton.
And the Everton supporter I was talking to, who's driving the taxi, said to me, get rid in the summer.
Did he?
Get as much money as you can and get rid.
Fair enough.
And I think that had something to do with the penalty shootout in the FA Cup.
Maybe.
It was
was
also...
it the League Cup?
Was it the League Cup?
The last year, the League Cup, because they beat Palace in the... Was it the FA Cup? League Cup, I think.
They went out to Luton, didn't they, in the FA Cup? It would have been League Cup, yeah. Garner on this near side has been given a free kick. This is the last action of what has been a relatively sedate first 45 from Everton. Crystal Palace have been better, Here is the free kick, taken on the right-hand side from Garner. He'll swing this in right-footed, arcing towards the penalty spot. It's a little bit deeper than that, and Branthwaite, well, he's not going to get there because it's too heavy, and that's the end of, well, rather disappointing first 45 minutes, and you heard the reaction from the Everton fans there. They've drawn the last 2 Premier League home games. They haven't drawn 3 in a row at Goodison Park for 9 years. That could be about to change. In the current circumstances, I don't think that would be enough. This is a game that I think Everton supporters believe they have to win. At half-time, they're certainly not doing that. It's 0-0. Well, we shouldn't be too surprised. Statistically, Goodison Park is the place in the Premier League where you witness the fewest number of goals. Doesn't mean you can't be entertained, of course. There's still a charm about this aged old beast that sits between rows of red brick terrace housing and overlooks Stanley Park. Eventually they'll move out of here. Eventually this will be something else. But I suppose it's worth taking in with its rusty iron post that obscures the penalty area away to our left, its tight concrete staircases and whitewashed walls. It is a throwback to a different era and maybe a different city. Everton haven't really moved with the times, whilst across Stanley Park there's ever-increasing evidence that, just like the dock down by the Mersey, the city centre, Liverpool certainly have. They will move to to Bramley Moor Dock at the beginning of not next season, the season after. But in the meantime, what they want to do is try and preserve their Premier League status, and in a sense they need to win games like this, Danny. What should they do differently?
Well, more urgency, more bravery from the creative players. Get up the pitch, get higher, take some more risks, play forward a little bit more. Just try and get the whole team up the pitch a little bit.
One bright spot from that first half was the performance of Crystal Palace's new signing, Adam Wharton.
Yeah, did all right, didn't he?
For the second week in a row. And it's they who come forward, with Ayew down the left-hand side, trundling into the box, stopped by Tarkowski, and then Gay protects the ball as Edouard threatens to nick it off him. Wharton's got it again, plays a good ball behind Lerma, and then there's a collision between Young and Mitchell, which generates a free kick. The referee hasn't indicated which way, but I'm guessing it's a Crystal Palace one. So I'll go through the 2 teams. Everton have got Pickford in goal, Godfrey, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikalenko the back 4, Gay and Garner, then Young, Doucouré and McNeil behind Calvert-Lewin in attack. Crystal Palace have got Johnston in goal, changed to the shape, so Munoz and Mitchell the wing backs, Ward, Anderson and Richards the back 3, Wharton and Lerma in the centre with Mateta and Edouard up top. Here's the free kick to be taken by Adam Wharton over on the far side. He will send the ball deep towards the far post, but there's a push by Mateta on Tarkowski, and a free kick is given on the penalty spot for Everton.
Poor ball in anyway, wasn't it? Poor ball in. But how can you be fouling the centre half when you'd... Oh my God.
Today's attendance, 38,000.
There are 38,164 people inside the stadium that want to be entertained in the second half. Here is Godfrey down the right. Trying to tuck it back to him was Doucouré, but it was ambitious because the angle on it wasn't right. Away by Gay. And then on the halfway line, the ball is given away, and Mateta then puts it out to the left, and Edouard tries to keep it in, but fails. It's out for a throw-in in front of the Bullens Road stand opposite us, a 2-tiered, rather antiquated stand now that is being propped up by white iron girders. The television gantry hangs low down from the roof, and there's a second camera gantry at the front of the second tier. There's not much movement and energy from the stands either when compared to those on the pitch. It's been flat everywhere, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin has given away a free kick 20 yards short of the penalty area away to our left-hand side.
I think it's safe to say it's a better point for Palace than it is for Everton.
Much better.
Absolutely.
I think Everton will be incredibly disappointed if they don't win this game.
Well, they're not really going after it,
which is weird, because if you're Sean Dyche, you'll target certain games
Absolutely.
that are upcoming. You know, they got Brighton away next. Maybe they will win it like they did last year, but you would see at this moment in time that to be quite unlikely.
Yeah.
West Ham at home, big game. Manchester United away, live on TalkSport. The derby against Liverpool is a possibility. It will depend on whether or not Liverpool make it through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Bournemouth away, Newcastle away. All games that you would expect Everton actually to struggle in, apart from maybe the West Ham game upcoming. So, you target this game, look at it and think, well, we better do something special tonight against a team that are limping around the bottom of the table without their two most creative assets. Haven't hardly won a game without, they haven't won a game without Eze in the team all season. This is one to go out and win, but they haven't looked as if they've got the bit between their teeth to go and do it. And they certainly haven't shown the invention and imagination to be able to cultivate enough chances to trouble the back line. And maybe some of that's down to Crystal Palace and the way they've set up, Danny.
Absolutely. Yep.
Long ball forward by Pickford, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin rises. The ball is mishandled initially by Anderson, but comes away with it right side. Right on the edge of his own box, he clears, but Mykolenko heads it down, and it's Lerma who gets there first, and Palice will bring it forward. We're almost 5 minutes into the second half, and pretty much, apart from the poor free kick from Adam Morton, nothing has happened in the game. Ward forward, down the right side, into the chest of Mateta, who nudges it back to Ayew, then he gives it back again, then they try and work it forward to Mateta, edge of the area, he goes down softly, far too softly.
Mitchell was on, they do lovely little play, the overload was there, they missed the overload, poor from Mateta, but the overload, he wasn't the pass.
It was a really poor bit of play by Crystal Palace, because Mitchell made a great run down the left-hand side. Mateta actually probably could have held on to the ball and taken a shot, and decided not to, went to ground far too easily, and it was pretty pathetic, really.
It was a good link-up initially, and then Ayew should have played Mitchell, and he was in. Mateta he give it back to, and then he, like Bambi on ice there.
Doucouré. I mean, it was hardly, he fell over, he must have fallen over. That's the only excuse I can give him.
Yeah, he slipped. Or tried to get a pen, one or the other.
Here is Sarkowski, sending it long out towards this near side, taken down by McNeil. He turns, looks up, plays it back down the left, and Mykolenko is not going to get there because it's too heavy. It's going to run out of play and go out and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side, and the years of frustration continue. Everton have won 6 of the last 7 meetings with Crystal Palace. Palace haven't won here since September 2014. It's actually the 4th time that these two have met this campaign. And one was an absolute thriller, 3-2 down at Selhurst Park. Producer Izzy and I went to the game in the FA Cup, which Izzy hasn't quite got out of her mind yet because it was so
cold.
No, it just dulled the senses so much. It was a bit like this. It went to a replay and no one could quite believe it that they were going to do it all over again. Everton eventually emerged from that replay, only to lose in the next round of the FA Cup. And now this one. Ball up towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's a foul there by Joachim Anderson.
Paul's not helping, is he? He's not helping the aesthetics, blowing up for free kicks.
The ref.
I'm kidding, it wasn't free kick.
Can't blame the ref. He's allowed things to go. Here's Mykolenko into the box looking for Calvert-Lewin. It's too high. Not a great clearance. The ball eventually helped away by Wharton. Back into the edge of the penalty area. Poor ball by Garner. You heard the sighs again, the groans from the Everton supporters in the Gladys Street end away to our left. Garner's got it centre field again. Doucouré showing for it. They go square instead, where it's with Mykolenko, and now into McNeil. McNeil travels centrally and then plays it to Garner, and then it goes back to Branthwaite, and then Branthwaite into Gay. Everton's fortunes on the field been pretty cloudy. So has the ownership saga off it. Farhad Mashuri agreed the sale of their club in September, but the owners and directors test is still ongoing. The Financial Conduct Authority gave 777 assent in December, but the Premier League have taken 22 weeks and counting to assess their takeover. I mean, you would have thought that after 22 weeks they've decided whether or not they are fit and proper. Meanwhile, the bills are racking up. No one's got a clue when there will be a resolution to that. And on the field, the fortunes are dwindling too. They would be 13th without the points deduction. And we have been told they're going to find out whether or not they're going to get any back imminently. But there is the threat of further punishment as well. And all they can do between now and the end of the season is try and put as many points on the board as possible and hope to keep the wolf from the door.
Precarious position. It's a shame, such a great club as well.
Mykolenko into Gay, back to Branthwaite, then Pickford. And they're right on the edge of their own penalty area. And Gay, under pressure from Wharton, manages to tuck it round the corner to Tarkowski. He's immediately surrounded by white shirts. Comes out to the near side. And then Mykolenko sends it forward. Calvert-Lewin receives it after dropping off. He runs out to the left channel and then darts down the left wing. Ward comes out to meet him. He's by the corner flag here. Tried to centralise the ball. Young's done well to keep it alive. McNeil's done well too. Here's Garner with an effort. And he opened up his body and tried to bend it into the far corner. And as he did so, he just didn't get enough whip on it to bring it back. And it went wide of the left-hand upright.
Yeah, it was a good effort. Calvert-Lewin, nice and positive down the left-hand side. From talking about running at people, seeing if something happens. Finds Young in the box, little set-up for Garner, and he tries to do the right thing. Just leans back a little bit, but it's a decent effort. He's capable from there.
Only 2 goals this season for James Garner, who helped Nottingham Forest to promotion before turning up at Everton. There's a half-decent chance for Everton. They're still waiting to have an effort on target in the game. 55 gone. Here is Munoz trying to nudge it through to Ayew, but it's cut out by Everton. It wasn't a precise ball. Up to halfway. Anderson beats Calvert-Lewin for probably the first time on the night, really. Headed down by Gay, prodded clear by Richards, chested down by Wharton, and then he flicks it over the top into the left channel, hoping that Mateta gets there ahead of Tarkovsky. A little nudge, and then turns it into Mitchell. Mitchell goes up against the advancing goalkeeper, who actually does very, very well to make himself big enough to cause a real problem and stop Tyreek Mitchell from getting the ball beyond him.
It's a great chance for Mitchell, although it did look like there was a little nudge on Tarkovsky from Mateta before that, so I don't know whether it would count, but still it was a great opportunity.
Pickford very quick out, made himself big and getting the ball away to safety. Palace coming forward again halfway with Munoz, who is Colombian and 27 years of age, in the Premier League for the first time after a spell in Belgian football. Ward into the air. Crystal Palace record Premier League appearance maker Joel Ward. A flick by Garner, taken down well by Calvert-Lewin. One back by Lerma, and I think there would have been a foul if Palace hadn't continued with the ball, but the referees allowed the advantage. Richards to the left of the centre circle to Edouard, who drops deep. Wharton back to Anderson on halfway, and then ball. His ball long and high into the night sky, drops behind the shoulder of Ayew, who's occupying the space in the right wing position, watched by Mikalenko. His cross deflects off Mikalenko and goes behind, and it is corner number 115.
I get the feeling if Palace had a little bit more belief and conviction, they can win this game, because they're getting the ball in dangerous areas. It's just that little bit of quality and belief sometimes. I know that they've got players missing, but there's a real lack of cutting edge when you watch Palace play at the moment. But they are getting themselves some dangerous areas.
Here is Wharton to take the corner, left-footed, and he flicks it towards the far post, and Anderson and Richards almost got in each other's way. Then an overhead kick from Edouard. Well, he executed it with what looked like quite a good technique, but he should have scored all wrong, and it went way over the top of the crossbar, like miles over the top of the crossbar.
I mean, that kind of sums the game up. He's got space to do it, and he can do it. Nobody goes to him, which is bizarre.
Well, if he gets that on target, it probably goes past Pickford. Yeah. But it was miles, literally so high over the top of the crossbar. Mikalenko forward to Gay, over halfway left side. Now it's back to McNeil. McNeil tries to slip it into the channel, but again not accurate with his ball forward, and it breaks down and Palace bring it clear. Godfrey shoves Edouard off the ball, manipulates the ball back to Branthwaite, and then again Garner gets it, stops it, plays it back, and then the Everton fans get a little bit annoyed. Harrison's warming up now with a little bit more extra zest, and the ball goes out to Young via Doucouré, and they're on the attack again, Everton, taking on Mitchell. Young trying to get round him and get across it. He's travelling down that right side, but they're doubling up on him and they've nabbed the ball from him. Eventually it's cleared away by Edouard. He finds Mateta. Tarkovsky's gone across to meet him, and Everton have won it back high inside opposition territory. Back it goes to Branthwaite though, and then Garner round the corner into Godfrey. Godfrey trying to help it on, but Mitchell was out there tight to him. It's out of play and away for a throw. 0-0 hitting the hour mark. 53% possession for Everton, who are on the attack here with Young into the box, headed away by Richards, back out to the far side. It's out for a throw-in. Listen to that. That's a throw-in.
They're trying. They've got to take the positive moments and get this.
They're trying to get them up, aren't they?
Yeah, get them up, and
don't blame them. Doucouré. Dear, that wasn't a great ball into Gay, but they've kept hold of it anyway. Garner back out wide. Godfrey Where's he going to go with this one? Back. And then Garner gets bumped on the far side by Edouard. That was a really silly challenge because the ball had gone back to Tarkowski, and now they get the chance to pile forward and fling a free kick into the box. 0-0. 3 shots on goal, on target from Crystal Palace so far in the game. None from Everton up until this point. ...60 minutes on the clock. It's a clutch of players on the edge of the D here, trying to congregate and look for a route to goal. A free kick will be tossed in by James Garner. He needs to get this delivery right. He needs to get this into a zone where blue shirts can attack it. He tries to drip it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's away by Anderson, but the second ball drops for Mikalenko, who strikes it. It's blocked by the defender, and then the second effort from Garner Gay is way over the top of the crossbar.
I'm not sure why Gay's trying to hit it from 25, 30 yards when it's coming out in that pace, you know. Although, changing the subject, the benches for both teams, when you look who can come on and affect this game, which I'm sure they are going to be both looking, Everton have got some options, you know. Patterson could come on down that right. He's better going forward than Godfrey, that's for sure. Anana's a powerhouse in the middle of the park, and he's capable of scoring. And of course you've got Jack Harrison, you know, that, and then Dobbin on the wing, of course. Beto's another option. If you're not making chances and create, the 2 wide men are really struggling to impact this game.
Oh dear. Garner Gaze has picked the ball up just on the halfway line, and there were 2 balls out towards the right-hand side, Ashley Young and Godfrey, and instead he sort of just pummeled the ball into the right corner of the field.
I think your job sometimes, man, is to look at those players who are struggling with the anxiety that the crowd have got, and I think the 2 wide men haven't impacted the game going forward. You could argue either central midfield had come off, and I don't think Godfrey from a right-back position is giving you any productivity down that right-hand side, so there's some of the changes you could make, but here we go.
Onana's going to come on. I think Harrison might be about to come on as well. Referee stopped the game to have a word with Joel Ward. Not too sure what that was all about, but it was quite a significant delay. He was having a word with him, and then eventually the goal kick from Sam Johnson is taken and cleared upfield. Everton have it on this near side.
Oh dear.
Mikalenko skims the ball out towards this near side, and it goes out for a throw-in.
Well, Aid said it's got to get better.
That arguably got worse in the second half.
I think it possibly has. Oh dear. There's going to be a moment of magic in this game, though.
Yep, I can feel it. It's probably going to come in the 27th minute of injury time, but it's going to come, trust me. Here's Gay down the right-hand side. Munoz loses the ball halfway, then wins it back, then sends it forward, but it's given straight to Branthwaite. And then Garner was poor. Wharton pinched it. There's space down the left for Edouard, but he's run into a bit of trouble there. Wharton, he's had it pinched off him. The ball's just ricocheted into a bit of space. Garner's won it back again right side, recovered from his error, and he's got 2 chasing him, and he's managed to get it out to Ashley Young on the near side, and they've played their way out of trouble really well. And Godfrey's picked the ball up, and he's moved up to halfway. He's slalomed infield. He needs an outlet going forward now. Calvert-Lewin wants the ball played forward, but he's gone to McNeil, left edge of the area. He gets into the box. Calvert-Lewin goes on and takes a middle position. The cross comes in. It's dropped by Munoz. Goes behind and out for a corner. Well, it didn't take much to get the fans up for it, but that little bit of passage of play, a bit of positivity, a little bit of ambition, and all of a sudden, the energy's up.
Yeah, and that was all triggered by Palace's poor decisions in the final third of Everton when they got themselves in 2 good positions and 2 poor balls, and then all of a sudden Everton were on the counter. And these corners, this is the most dangerous Everton are going to be. Set plays. If they can defend these, Palace, they've got nothing to worry about, really.
Garner to take the free kick. Well, that's because they've got the lowest percentage, I think one of the lowest percentage of open play goals in the Premier League this season, Everton. Their biggest threats come from set pieces. Garner into the centre, header saved by the goalkeeper. It was Godfrey's header that came back towards the edge of the penalty area. Decore's shot is cleared off the line brilliantly by Sam Johnston with a flying save. Back into the centre it goes, away by Munoz, still not clear, up into the air, and the ball drops on the edge of the penalty area and Everton on the attack. How has Decore not scored from there? It's a flying Superman save from Sam Johnston.
Brilliant save.
Here's Decore again, down the left, onto Mikolenko. Left-footed ball into the near post, away by Anderson. Picked up by McNeil. McNeil encouraged to get the ball back into the box. It's high this time, and it goes right through the other side of the area. Gay, back to Godfrey. Not a great ball, but Godfrey's kept it alive. He sent it down the right, but Edouard's going to get there. Gay goes across. That was a little bit late from Edouard. The ball goes out. It's away for a throw-in. Down by the corner flag, 0-0. How's it not 1-0 Everton?
Well, we said set plays, didn't we? First it was the Tarkovsky header. I'm not sure if that the second one was it's poor, isn't it? He doesn't quite get it on target, does he?
No, he sort of stabs at it.
Yeah.
The first header is from Tarkovsky, who went flying towards it, and then it came back out quickly to Decore, and he sort of stabbed the ball towards the goal from a tight angle, and it was flapped away by Johnson, who moved at rapid pace. McNeil with the delivery towards the far post. It's kept in by Ashley Young, is it? No, it's gone out of play apparently. No, I don't really know how that is possible. It went out and came back in again when Ashley Young was on the byline, but you know, the linesman's got a better view than us. Here's the changes, and off comes Ashley Young, Anana and Harrison coming on. The other change is Jay, he's coming off too. What do you make of those changes, Danny Murphy?
Yeah, makes sense. Mix it up, some energy in those two for sure, some power, some pace.
Well, Anana's been out injured for a little while. Haven't seen the best of him recently.
I think Palace might need to be freshening it up soon as well. And calling someone back.
Yeah, they may well make a change. Hamada is about to come on for them. Mateta trying to bring the ball under control after a big clearance. It comes to Ayew, and he shoots to the far corner and drills it brilliantly past Jordan Pickford with a rocket from the edge of the area. A long ball up to Mateta. He held it up well. He fed Ayew. Ayew took it down. He could see a bit of space to Pickford's right, and he picked it out brilliantly. Jordan Ayew with just his third goal of the season. It's a terrific finish from the edge of the box, and Oliver Glasner, the new manager of Crystal Palace, looking on from on high, is smiling from ear to ear. It's a belter of a goal, a moment of brilliant quality in a game that's lacked it. It's 1-0 Palace.
Well, I said a moment of magic, and there it is, because Mateta does wonderfully well holding off the centre halves. Really strong, and he waits for the support, but when it pops back to Ayew, he takes a touch, cuts across it beautifully right to left, comes out really sweet, and Pickford's left with no chance. It's a brilliant finish. It was going to take something special for Palace, for sure. It's amazing how a game can change. You know, Everton putting some pressure on with the set play, a couple of chances. Palace go down the other end, score, and the whole atmosphere changes again.
It's only his third goal in 30 games, Jordan Ayew, but that is something worth talking about. It was a really good finish from the Ghanaian. 33 years of age, often maligned in the Crystal Palace lineup, but scoring a goal that could give them precious points away from home. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1, and this would be a disastrous result really for Everton.
Game management for Palace now.
Well, and a lot more than that required from Everton, who haven't got going in this game. They've been almost frozen by anxiety in the match.
It looks a bit that way, yeah.
19 points from 25 games. Obviously they would have 29 points if they hadn't have had a 10-point deduction, and Crystal Palace will go up above Brentford, and Nottingham Forest 27 points from 25 if they maintain this scoreline. It's 1-0, and it was moments after the substitution as well. I just wonder, Anana was involved in the sort of skirmish with Mateta, whether he just wasn't really up to what was going on behind him, and just lost sight of Ayew slightly, didn't cover the ground quick enough, and Ayew then utilised that time to pick his spot and fire it into the corner of the net. Onana trying to send the ball down the left, too big with his delivery, it flies out of play.
He picked up Ayew, that lovely little position between the left back who normally has him and in that number 10 position where one of the midfielders has to cling on to him, and if the communication isn't right, of course, then you find yourself free. But when you do find yourself free in those areas, even if someone's got off the back here as a midfielder, you think, go on, then hit it, really. You know, that's got to be a hell of a strike from there. He struck that beautifully. So they got punished. They got punished severely for one lapse in concentration, really.
They're going to bring on, I think, Beto as well in the next few moments to try and bolster the attack here. Everton, they know they need probably 2 goals, really, for this to represent any sort of decent result against a Crystal Palace side that are in turmoil. Not a good day at the office so far for the home team, and believe me, they will let you know about it here if it continues like this. Let me review the latest odds from Ladbrokes. It's currently 1-0 to Crystal Palace. And right now you can get Everton to win at 8-1, the draw 23-20, and Palace to win at 15-8. Here's Ayew, heavy touch down the right side. He manages to keep the ball in play. Pickford gets hold of it. Might be a goal kick, actually. I think it went out of play.
I'm not sure why.
Sorry,
I'm not sure why Tyrick Mitch was trying to get in on the near post there when he's playing left wing back.
Here is Tarkowski into Onana. Onana onto Garner, who's left side of the centre circle. Pushed forward, out towards the near touchline. McNeil takes it on the winger, formerly of Burnley. Brings it infield, gives it to Mikalenko, but there's just an extra half a second of hesitation when Everton get hold of the ball. Instead of moving it around slickly at pace, they just hold on to it for that extra moment, which allows Crystal Palace to get back in. Decent ball into the box, punched away by the goalkeeper. Ayew was off the pitch, but he's back on it now and funneling into position to make a tackle on this near side, and he puts the ball against the defender. It goes out of play, and we are going to get a change here. Hamada coming on, Beto coming on for Everton. 2 changes, 1 from either side. And Edouard is coming off for Crystal Palace, and Hamada is coming on. Interesting change. It's more of a defensive-minded change, I think, really, for Crystal Palace. It might give them a little bit more energy on this right-hand side. Ayew will go out to the left. Another change sees Doucouré coming off to be replaced by Beto.
Yeah, that's clever. Doucouré's only just got back. They don't want to lose him for the games coming up. 2 up top.
Well, they're going to have to win some games, Everton, that you're not going to expect them to win if they're going to stay in this division. The way things are at this moment in time, they'll be hoping upon all hope that they get those 10 points back, or even some of them, the way things are going at this moment in time. You're listening to TalkSport live at Goodison Park, where it's not been a particularly good evening for Everton supporters. They're trailing here by 1-0 to a Ayew rocket on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton Crystal Palace live right now, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Here is Jack Harrison, far side for Everton. He hasn't really got into the game since coming on yet. Mikalenko takes over left side into McNeil, then back to Garner. Again, it's all happening in front of Crystal Palace.
Well, I think the tactical plan is definitely worked in that respect.
Onana into Harrison, whose attempt to drop into the hole to try and spin it round the corner was cut out by Joel Ward, and he tries to release Mateta but didn't get his ball right.
Joel Ward's just got to feel that pass, roll it to his feet calmly and softly. It's just a panic. It's too firm, there's no feel to it.
Pickford clips the ball up in behind Munoz, but it's brought down by McNeil with quite a degree of poise. He sends it infield to Calvert-Lewin, who retreats slightly and then just turns the ball out towards the far side. Collected now by Godfrey. Godfrey's cross is blocked by Ayew, but it spoons into the air, headed further clear from the edge of the Palace box by Mitchell, and then collected by Harrison, and Onana will clip it wide towards the left. Chested down by Mikalenko, the Ukrainian. He's got McNeil to his left, and infield he goes to Garner. Again, it's a backward pass, a regressive rather than progressive pass. But McNeil with a decent cross into the box, looking for Beto, but it's away by Anderson. And he and Palice managed to get it eventually clear. But Wharton with a little bit of a panic ball, kicks it straight out of play. It's away for a throw-in on this near side. 17 to go, 1-0 to Palace.
I mean...
What do you mean?
Sorry. Some of the decision making and lack of quality at times is so frustrating to watch.
It's not great for the listeners at home for you just to grunt though.
I know. But I didn't want to say anything I regretted, so I thought the grunt was safer. Going back to the point before though, the setup, the tactical switch that they've made, whether it be I think Paddy McCarthy and Ray Lewinson together have made this decision. It's worked. It's worked. It's given them a nice foundation to grow into the game. Everton haven't gotten behind them very often with this system. It's something that we'll probably see moving forward, maybe, with the way they've performed so far in this game with 15 minutes left.
Ball sent on by Pickford. Johnston comes out and grabs it from the sky. He then falls over the back of Chris Richards and then stays down and needs a bit of treatment inside his penalty area away to our left-hand side. It is the start of a proper testing period, by the way, for Crystal Palace. And Oliver Glasner, who is expected to take charge of the team in time to be in the dugout for the game with Burnley at the weekend,
well, that's a good game. It's a good game to start, Burnley.
It starts with Burnley.
Yeah, you'd rather that than Man City.
There's some absolute six-pointers on the agenda. Burnley at home, Tottenham away, Luton at home, Newcastle at home, Forest away.
Great set of fixtures that for Palace.
Away.
3 home games, and of the 5 games he's coming, 3 of them around him in the table.
Yeah, great if you win them.
What I'm saying is you wouldn't want Liverpool, United, Arsenal, City when you're 4 games coming in as a manager, would you?
That's true.
Yeah.
Fixtures maybe a little bit similar to the ones that Roy inherited when he came in towards the back end of last season. Ended up getting quite a few victories on the board very quickly, and then that sort of staved away any trouble that they thought that they were facing. But you know, I think also for Oliver Glasner to walk in here knowing that really and truly Premier League precedent will tell you probably need just 7 points to survive in the league next season. I mean, that's a good position to be in.
It is great position.
He might feel a little bit fortunate. Here is Mitchell down the left-hand side. His ball into the box is deflected, and it goes out for a corner. Of course, what would really top off this performance is if they were to score from a set piece tonight.
That would. I wouldn't be putting it in the box. I'd be going to take it short and just frustrate the life out of them, keep little passes in the corner, even at this point.
It's the 115th corner of the season. They're still waiting to score a goal from one. But they did create from the last one, didn't they, really well? We're
sitting up here watching, talking about Palace trying to score from a corner. Everton are 1-0 down in a game they've got to really win. They've got everyone back.
They have. Here's the corner, left-footed by Wharton towards the penalty spot. It drops for Richards, and then Anderson takes over. He's followed by Onana out to the right-hand side. Munoz tries to take it on. It goes back to Anderson, then he commits a handball offence. The ball goes out of play anyway, and it's going to be a throw-in on this near side. And Everton have got it back again. What Everton need to do, though, Danny, is 1, inject a little bit of purpose and energy into the performance, and 2, get it forward.
Yeah, it's
good flick on by Calvert-Lewin from the throw, which releases McNeil. He's charging centrally, feeds Jack Harrison edge of the area. He tries to go wide. Richards is stuck with him. He's kept going, Harrison. He's travelled out towards the corner flag, gets the byline, produces a decent cross. He's chested down inside the area by McNeil. He keeps hold of it, goes out of the box, plays it left again. Harrison can't get there, stabbed away by Munoz. Branthwaite does well to get up with Mateta. Ball comes out to the near side. It's collected by McNeil and goes back into Garner. Onana has it now, wants to float it in. It's up towards Calvert-Lewin, who wins another good header. The second ball, though, is not won by an Everton player, despite Harrison trying to get there, and it goes out on the far side. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, you know, say what you want about the fact that he hasn't scored since October, but actually, his usefulness in the air has been almost brilliant tonight. He's been so good at winning those aerial balls. People haven't got around him to get the second knockdown.
Well, there's so many Palace bodies around him when they do, and I think that's another reason why they set up this way. There was only really Decore trying to get with him in the first half, and now he's got Better alongside him. Maybe they'll get a bit more, but it's been the only threat of Everton, really.
Oh, absolutely. And there's not been much of that. They've had 2 attempts on goal now, though. One of them swatted away by Johnston, although Munoz had something to do with that as well. And the other one saved brilliantly by Johnston from Tarkovsky's diving header.
Mateta's got to do better for his teammates there all the time in the world to keep the ball, make a decision. I know he's probably tired.
12 minutes still to play on Talk Sport with the 1-0 slender advantage for Crystal Palace. And it is Everton on who the onus rests now as we go into the final 12 minutes of the game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin down the side of the penalty area that Palace are defending. Jack Harrison takes over, sends across into the box. It spoons off Wharton. He's loose now, comes to Onana, who volleys it goalwards, blocked by Lerma. Repels almost the halfway before Branthwaite intervenes, and then they come again, Everton, down the left. It's Garner into McNeil. McNeil tries to go past the Hamada, floats across him beautifully for Calvert-Lewin, who's missed the target again. He's got up well, the ball came in, it was there to be won. He approached it, he didn't time his header correctly, it hit the side of his forehead rather than the meat of it, and it went wide.
I've got a bit of sympathy with him there. I think it's not as easy as the one the earlier chance, I don't think. Great play from McNeil. There's a lot of bodies there. I think it's Richards who's jumping with him, isn't it? And he still gets over him. That's not as easy as the one earlier. I feel for him there a bit. He did get over him. He's trying to guide it into the right place. A bit more pressure on him under that with that one, I think, Sam.
Absolutely. Well, the first one was a free header, wasn't it? It went over the top and just wide of the goal. The second one that he's had tonight has been influenced by the presence of the American international Chris Richards. He positioned himself well enough to put off Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's actually done well, Richards. I think he's done well. Yeah, he's in a more natural position. I think he likes playing as a centre-half. He did a job at centre midfield when he was required. Beto wants a free kick for a collision with Anderson as the ball's played in by Mikolenko. The referee is waving play on and saying continue. 10 minutes to go. They're actually in danger here, Crystal Palace. Whisper it quietly, of keeping a clean sheet and, get this, not being the team that have conceded the most goals since Christmas anymore, because Newcastle conceded 2 at the weekend and they haven't conceded any here yet, and they've had a dreadful time of conceding goals, Crystal Palace, recently. I suppose there won't be too many of the Crystal Palace fans getting too excited yet. Only 3 teams in Premier League history have conceded 10 or more goals after the 90-minute mark in the season, and Palace have conceded 9 Premier League goals in stoppage time alone this season.
Which does tell you, when you think about that stat,
yes,
that how different their position could look, and Roy's potentially, if the last few minutes of games have been managed better.
Go back to last Monday.
Yeah,
they've already got a point in that game last Monday if they'd just seen through the last few minutes.
No, but nine of them.
Yeah, 9 of them. Yeah. There's a delay over on the far side because Tyreek Mitchell is in need of treatment. He's gone down and the physio's come on, so the ball is out of play. And it means that I can tell you that the sports bar is on the agenda at 10 o'clock tonight. Jamie and Jason back together again. I'm looking forward to listening them dissect what we've seen here today. 03717 2233 44. Certainly will be a feather in the cap of Paddy McCarthy and Ray Lewington tonight. Whether Ray's going to stay on after Oliver Glasner takes charge is something completely different. Glasner in deep conversation with Mark Bright and Dougie Freeman at this moment in time. In the front row of the director's box, just down in front of us. Stand up and crowbar my neck over the top of the lip of the desk we've got in front of us here. I can see them chortling away. We are back underway after Mitchell's taken in his treatment, and the ball is picked up on halfway line by Beto. Might have been better to leave that for Harrison, who was rushing forward. Beto intervened when maybe would have been better for Harrison to continue. McNeil's ball in towards the edge of the box. It's flicked away. Harrison trying to keep it alive. Richards further clear. Back to Godfrey. Godfrey on the right side. Manages to funnel the ball into Harrison, who's in the right wing position for Everton, who are desperately craving a goal here at Goodison Park, trailing by a goal to nil and heading for more and more problems in the Premier League. They're in the relegation zone. They've got possibly more points deductions to come. Calvert-Lewin rises, heads the ball down. Garner is there with an effort. It's prodded past the post by a diving Sam Johnson. It came down to him. He just didn't hit it with the right amount of violence to take it past Sam Johnson, who made a good save.
Well, it's a good run from Garner, supporting Calvert-Lewin again, and when it drops, he hits it too central. Doesn't set it out so desperate to try and hit the target rather than take the risk and try and set it off wider. He was unlucky.
Sent in by McNeil, deep to the far post, headed down and crushed in. Onana got up there and smashes everything, takes the whole kitchen sink with him to take the ball into the net and get Everton back on level terms. We told you they were dangerous from set pieces. 50% of their goals had come by that method. McNeil's delivery was arcing. It went bending into the box and Onana crashed the ball home, and it's 1-1.
See, I'm a big believer in if a ball's being swung into the box, 6-yard box, should be the keepers all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Nobody should be out jumping a keeper to head it above his hands.
Well, he did.
Poor goalkeeper. Great from Onana, but really poor goalkeeper.
Well, Andre Onana, the subject of interest in the January transfer window, wasn't the subject of enough interest in the Everton in the Crystal Palace penalty area. And after 85 minutes, Onana on the score sheet for Everton for just the third time this season. And both these goals actually came against relegation rivals Burnley in 2 different games earlier in the campaign. But he's got up there above Sam Johnson, who got caught under the ball a little bit and in a crowd that were trying to defend the corner kick. But Onana got there and managed to convert.
Because he's had a good night, Sam Johnson. He looks really secure and solid. If you any top goalkeeper, very rarely you'll see them get out jumped. When you're going to catch the ball or punch the ball, they all make sure that they're higher in the air before.
Well, you know what this means, don't you? Because Everton now have got the momentum with them, and Johnson's just kicked the ball out over on the far side. And remember, Johnson only came in today because of the issues that Crystal Palace had with Dean Henderson in recent weeks, where he'd just conceded far too many goals. His save ratio was so low. He's conceded 3 from 5 shots on Monday night, and now they believe that they can expose a weakness in the current goalkeeper, Sam Johnson, who's just conceded here with 5 minutes to go. Another late goal for Everton. Another late goal conceded by Crystal Palace, who were leading against Chelsea, lost their lead and then lost the game. They were leading here for a long time, and now they've lost their lead. Are they going to lose the game? They've given away a free kick at Hamada. McNeil was pushed in the back on the left edge of the area, and it's going to be another dissecting delivery into the box from Dwight McNeil as we go into the last 3.5 minutes of the game here at Goodison Park.
It's only one team looking like they're going to win this.
Well, it would change the narrative, wouldn't it, for Everton to come back and win the game?
Yeah.
After some Palace positivity, can Everton put a positive spin on it themselves? A left-footed delivery from McNeil is about to come into the box, left side. He swings it towards the back edge of the penalty area, and it's headed over the top by Tarkowski. He just got himself into a good position and peeled off the back of Richards this time. Just took a step back, made space for it, and then it went over the top of the bar. Adam Wharton coming off and Ozo coming on as they make a change. Crystal Palace. And Ozo will come on into that role in midfield and just try to give them an extra lift, an extra pair of legs to ensure they don't throw this away now. Ozo himself is only 18 years of age, not started a senior game.
This is huge for both teams, these last few minutes.
And he's gone in to supplement the presence of Lerma in the middle of the park, but it has the feeling of a defining final 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time at the end of the game. And you can see that on Sean Dyche's face. He's almost bursting a blood vessel as he tries to get instructions onto the pitch, bellowing and maybe drawing that voice even hoarser than it usually is. Ozo's got it back to Ward, who's going to hit it upfield. Beto went to block it. It's going to go over the head.
Oh, didn't see him.
Branthwaite, under pressure from Mateta, gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, but the offside flag has gone up anyway. They bring it out, Everton, charge upfield. Tense moments now at the end of the game. Calvert-Lewin trying to help it onto Beto, who's fortuitously got hold of it, tried to return it. Calvert-Lewin trying to squeeze through a tight gap. They were never in control of that moment, Everton. They were just trying to bundle their way through.
Yeah, the energy's better, confidence is up, fans are up, they believe they can win.
I think Jordan Ayew picked up a yellow card for dissent in all of that. It's his 5th booking of the season. It won't lead to any punishment because you need 10 now in order to pick up a ban. Ball cleared out over on the far side by Sam Johnson. It goes out of play and away for a Crystal Palace throw. We've got 1 minute of normal time plus stoppage time, and I'll remind you that Crystal Palace have conceded more than anybody else in stoppage time and did so last week. But Ayew, the goal scorer, is coming forward. He's sandwiched out of it by Garner. He turns and tells him to get up, and Pickford is urged to get the ball upfield quickly. He brings it out, rolls it to the edge of the D, and then plays a pass into Mykolenko, who then in turn gives it to McNeil. Garner, then back to Mykolenko again. They'll try and work the ball forward here in the final minute of the game. 30 seconds of normal time to play. Captain Everton come from behind to win this game at Selhurst, at Goodison Park. Lost my bearings for a second there. And remember,
It's all the excitement.
it is, yeah, we haven't had much. Everton haven't won any of the last 28 Premier League games in which they've conceded the first goal. Can they buck that trend now? Because Harrison is coming down the right-hand side, delivering a cross into the box. Beto wants towards it, didn't quite get there. Comes back out to McNeil on the edge of the box. He feathers it into Garner, wide on the left, into Mykolenko. Here's effort into the box. Headed by Beto, is wide of the right-hand upright.
Tell you what, it was a hell of a ball in from the right
6 minutes of added time.
Hell of a ball in from the right-hand side, and a brilliant defensive header from Joel Ward, just as I think it was Beto or Calvert-Lewin was going to head it.
Yep, Beto with an effort into the near post, which went narrowly wide. So 6 minutes of added time. Here we go. It could be a defining 6 minutes as well. Ray Lewington is standing on the edge of the technical area with Paddy McCarthy. He's got his 2 hands in the air, flapping people forward, saying you've got to push up, you've got to get up.
Got to.
Don't get sucked into camping on the edge of your penalty area, because give away a free kick in a dangerous area to Everton and they can punish you. They prod the ball forward to Calvert-Lewin, who rides one challenge, but Anderson's challenge wasn't great and he's given away a free kick.
Why is he going to ground there? Why is he diving in and going to ground when you know Everton's best chance of scoring is a set play?
And now they have a free kick, 6 yards in front of the centre circle, on the right. And there is Calvert-Lewin Branthwaite, who has scored a late goal for Everton this season at this end in front of the Gladys Street. Anana in there too. It's not a great delivery. Anderson gets it away. Mykolenko receives it on the edge of the box. He gives it back to McNeil, travels out wide towards the left. He needs to get into a crossing position, so he's trying to motor out towards the far side, and they've given it back to Pickford, and they've got to get onside because Pickford's going to drip this forward over the top of the defence, and he's done that well. It's kept alive by Harrison, right side, pulls it back, but it's not a great ball. Lerma intervened, tucked it out and away for a throw-in deep inside Palace territory. Everton on the hunt for a winner here. It's Harrison's delivery into the box, headed away by Richards. Down it goes by Anana, half cleared by Crystal Palace, but it's Harrison who's going to get there first. He plays it square to Branthwaite, and then that's not a great ball back to Pickford, who has to rush to get it out to the far side where Harrison's waiting for it. Anana lumps it forward. Calvert-Lewin on the chase. It's going to go straight through to Johnston.
They've stopped playing, Palace. They're in panic mode. They've forgotten how to play. Pressure.
Well, I think the Everton supporters know how crucial this stoppage time period is, because not beating a Palace team that haven't got a manager, haven't got their 2 best players, and about to go 8 games without a win in the Premier League, and you can't say that Everton have been unlucky in all 8 of those Premier League games. No. 19 points, but they've had 10 deducted, I know that, but they're still in the bottom 3, and if you're playing well enough to get 29 points in the league, you'd expect to win this game at home.
To be fair, I don't think they deserve to lose tonight. Palace scored a wonder goal, but they haven't been great going forward, Palace. It's probably about fair, a draw with what we've seen.
Is that good enough for Everton?
No.
Here's Jack Harrison over on the right-hand side. He's bundled to the floor, and that's going to be a bit of discipline for Jefferson Lerma. And they're going to have a free kick. The free kick was a lot further back than that, but they're going to get to take it inside opposition territory, which means Pickford's going to come up into the Palace half and take the free kick. In fact, they've taken it short, given it back to him. He's travelled forward with it over the halfway line, then launched it left-footed to the back edge of the box. Away by, well, Tarkowski sent it square, and then it was away by the defender. And then Palace pick it up and try to bring it forward. Garner slides in with a tackle, goes out of play. And Sean Dyche now outside of his technical area, once again trying to get messages on to the team as he scraps around for something. Points have actually not been easy to come by here for Everton this season. Most of their points have come away from home. And they're going to drop points here again. And remember those fixtures that I was telling you about a little bit earlier. They've got Brighton away, West Ham at home, Man United away, live on TalkSport. Liverpool, that game could be displaced and moved to later and even more crucial time of the season. Bournemouth away and Newcastle away from home. It's Palace coming forward over on the left in front of their fans in the Bullens Road stand. They get to the touchline on the far side. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in.
About a minute, 2 minute, minute and a half.
Minute and a half to play. And there is nervous tension, I think, inside Goodison Park, because 1-1 is better than 1-0, but it's not the result that Palace and their supporters came for. It's not the result that Everton supporters came here for tonight, that is for sure. They were expecting more. A long throw up the field by Godfrey required. I'm not even sure that he managed to get it taken from the right place. And now he's been told to go back towards the corner flag by Paul Tierney. Pedantic Paul has said take that by the corner flag now, even though he's allowed them to take it from wherever they want for the rest of the game. But in the 95th minute you've got to take it from exactly where the ball went out. He's going mad, Sean Dyche, about that.
It's a good kick.
Clearance by Johnston, away by Godfrey. Ball's going to go out for a throw-in, and Palace are actually managing these last few moments well.
Well, Ayew is a perfect player for that. Keeps the ball really well, nice and strong and clever with the ball up.
Another throw in far side. He's held it well down the left touchline as they look at it. It goes out of play. It's away for a Palace throw. 62% possession for Everton, 15 shots off target, 4 on target, 19 attempts today, Everton, but only the 1 goal. And Sean Dyche again will point to the expected goals tally. They've beaten Palace by that metric, but haven't come away with the points. Here is Jack Harrison over in the right corner of the field. We've seen a moment of quality from Ayew, and then a thunderous header from Onana, and that's it. Well, there is trouble at the Palace, but Everton have failed to take full advantage of the power vacuum. A relegation battle lies in prospect for both these sides. Two sides that have been goal shy for much of the season. Palace have taken the fewest points since November. Everton remain without a win in 2024 in the Premier League. One's only just got a new manager, the other one doesn't have an owner, but apart from that, well, it's great. The prognosis isn't great for either of these two teams, and it wasn't, for the large part, a very good game. But there was a super goal from Jordan Ayew, and at least Everton can point to the fact that they fought back to get a point when it didn't look like they were going to score a goal at all. It's finished. Everton 1, Palace 1.